Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show.
Hello and welcome back to the Roguecast for what I believe we all say is a pretty good week of comics.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yep, and kind of a varied week. There's things that surprised me.
Yeah.
It's not one that's like sort of an obvious one where there's like a lot of absolute titles hitting. Right. But there are a few notable titles in the mix. And
I was going to say, like 3 or 4 of my favorite books came out this week.
Some nice surprises, too.
So we'll be talking about that. Before we get to all that, though, worth noting, Free RPG Day is about 3 weeks away. That is going to be on Saturday the 27th. We have our packages en route, so hopefully next week we'll be able to give a little bit of a preview of what's going to be at Free RPG Day.
Yep.
Reminder, I don't know if we've talked about this in the podcast, I feel like we have, but Jeanette, our staffer Jeanette, has put together a tutorial on our website of how to use the Managed Comics subscription service that we have. So if you are getting comics through a subscription or you're special ordering stuff, especially if you like variant covers or specific like smaller indie books, go look at that tutorial, sign up through Managed Comics. It's the easiest way to make sure stuff gets ordered for you.
Yep.
However, it's also worth noting that it is based around the final order cutoff thing, which is a thing that we use that is basically 3 weeks before a comic comes out. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but basically 3 weeks before a comic comes out, we put our order numbers in.
Yep.
If you sign up for a book that is past the FOC date, so if you sign up for, say, Absolute Catwoman #1 like this week or 2 weeks ago.
Right.
You need to make sure and let us know also, hey, I signed up for this because the system will you get the next issue after the FOC.
Right.
We are trying to find a workaround for that. Right now we don't, but it's best to, when you get the emails that you get from that system, double check them, make sure everything's on there, and let us know if we missed something.
Yep. But yeah, the broad thing is the sooner you can get something in, the better. And if it's coming out soon, double check with us through an email or a call or a text or whatever, and make sure.
The ideal thing is that you do kind of what we do, which is go look what's coming up in 3 or 4 weeks, and decide what you're going to want.
Yep.
Now, of course, we're going to have stuff on the shelf. You can absolutely come in, browse, and buy. But if you want something specific, that is the best way to make sure that we get it, and we get it for you.
Yep.
Also,
I think it's more fun to kind of in advance go and like do a little shopping.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting in on the secret, it's like you're the doorbuster.
You might spot some stuff you don't like they're doing the soccer covers that are coming up, and those are hitting right now. They've got the beach day ones that are coming.
Those are surprisingly good, by the way, the soccer covers.
They've all been good.
Yeah.
The swimsuit ones they're doing.
Yeah.
When David Nakayama does his solid color variants.
Yep.
So you might see some variants you like. Also, want to mention that starting in the dispatch, the weekly email dispatch, I have been posting a link to our slideshows that I do.
Yes.
Our coming soon slideshows that are in the store. If you want to get a better sense of what's going to be coming out from comics and games, it's not everything, but I try to stay on top. You can go to that slideshow. I update it every week. So right now, the stuff that's cycling is the coming soon Avengers #1, Magic's Reality Fracture set. Marvel Champions has a street level Daredevil called Fear No Evil. That's going to be a box set with Echo, Daredevil, Typhoid Mary, Bullseye, Kingpin, all that stuff. There's a bunch of $10 games in there, so I've got a bunch of slides to try to keep up on like stuff that's coming soon.
Yeah.
So if you want to get that look ahead of what's coming soon, check that out. All right.
He doesn't waste all this time for nothing, y'all.
Yeah. I hope not. Game wise, it's not as crazy big as last week, but there were some new games.
Yep.
We got a couple new Werewolf books, Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Yep.
There is The Coming Destruction, which is a starter chronicle and a storyteller's toolbox. It's basically for your if you're a new wolf joining the pack kind of thing.
Okay, so this would be like an introduction to the werewolf setting, and
it sounds like
it
eases new players into the world of darkness and gives veterans a modular set of stories, characters, and locations. So it is an intro book, but is also useful if you've been playing.
Okay, yeah.
We also have the Chronicle of the Black Labyrinth. This is one of those in-world things. It's a little black book.
Oh yeah.
It is basically the adversary's mystery. You can read through this. It's kind of like it's like finding the Necronomicon.
Right. You were reading the lore of the characters read, which is pretty cool since this is a game that is renowned for its lore.
And then Hunter the Reckoning has one called Legacy of Defiance that introduces 8 lineages of hunters who came before. So it's like, it says hunters don't retire gracefully, but sometimes their legacy lives on. So it's like legacy hunters kind of thing.
Okay.
We also got a game called Farms Race, which is described as Catan with nukes.
Okay. So what is it called?
Farms Race.
Like Arms Race, but with a farm.
Correct.
Okay.
It says it's resource gathering, area control, shifting alliances, asymmetric mutations, and nuclear annihilation. All in under 2 hours for 2 to 4 players.
Was this what that comic Farmhand was like?
No, it's way weirder than that. That's
okay.
way weirder. We got a game called Pondscape, where you are a card game. You're building ecosystems.
Oh, that's fun.
With diverse frog species, so
Sure.
more frog games. And we got a new 2-player deduction game called Pagan Fate of Roanoke.
Oh, interesting.
So one player is the witch,
Yep.
the other is the hunter. The witch is trying to carry out a ritual before being exposed and eliminated by the hunter. As the witch strives to complete a ritual, the hunter tries to track the witch down and find out its true identity. You have different decks with 50 cards each, and then there's like 4 or 5 expansions you can buy to sort of deepen
This game assumed that witches are evil again. Didn't we work to get past this?
It's the time of Roanoke. They were all evil then.
Oh, okay, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Everybody was a witch hunter.
I feel like the hunter should be the bad guy. He should be a nasty-ass colonizer, and the witch is trying to save these people with magic mushrooms.
Yes. But anyway, interesting to see a
I
two-player.
love the setting though. That is cool to drop a little Roanoke in
I'm
there.
not generally a social deduction game, but this is
Yeah.
like this can't be so. There's only 2 people, so it's more of a deduction around what they've played and that kind of stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Because you can't do a social deduction with 2
right.
guys.
It's gonna play out.
It's like,
different
who's the
somehow.
werewolf? That's not me. Must be you.
What if it's neither of us?
Oh, twist.
Listen, we did play that one epic game of Shadows over Camelot, where
Everyone thought it was-
we burned Camelot to the ground, only to find that we had gotten the rarest possible combination. Nobody was the
traitor.
betrayer.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Comics. There's a lot of them. Let's start with the...
Randy, before you go on to
Yes,
comics, we just got a new order from Indie Press
right,
Revolution.
yeah.
These are the guys who make all the little smaller indie games that we carry over in the quarter, and you've probably seen them there where there's we always have dozens of them faced out, including a massive, a whole shelf always of solo indie RPGs.
Yep.
This is the stuff with the most wildly varying premises you could possibly imagine. Especially I think people with the sort of who really want something different, who want a creative spark, who want a game that is not just hack and slash. You will always find some crazy stuff in there. There's the Very Good Dogs of Chernobyl, which are about little sort of teams of mutant dogs in the wake of Chernobyl. There's what else? The solo games where you're playing out a horror slasher, or that are recreate the sort of vibe of Knives Out, and you sort of construct a mystery.
Yep.
I mean, it is endless. We did just post a picture on the store's Facebook of a bunch of the ones that came in, so you can just kind of skim through there. But just know that there's tons and tons of new options there, and I know these always sell very well for us, so I know people are out there digging them. But yeah, it is the ideal time to come in because they are all freshly baked right now.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about Absolute Catwoman. This is the newest Absolute book. This is we're about to finish Martian Manhunter.
Yes, it's on its final issue.
So it's been almost a year since they've launched an Absolute book. They've been pretty measured on this.
Yep.
Well, Green Arrow.
I agree, but this is the new wave, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's true.
Green Arrow, Catwoman, and we just turned out another one that we're not going to say because it's a spoiler.
Yep.
Right.
But we will say Absolute Catwoman, we all really enjoyed.
This would be my pick for the week.
It's arguably mine, except there's some other stuff that's really, really good.
Yep.
The artwork by Bengal is really, really good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's kind
exceptional.
of sort of high energy, just a little bit more cartoony than some of the other what do you call it, Absolute books. Although Martian Manhunter kind of leans into that too.
Dragotta does as well.
Yeah.
It's very
That's true.
exaggerated.
That's true.
It has a spectacular action sequence in it, really well drawn.
If you haven't been reading Absolute Batman and seen the guest appearances by Absolute Catwoman,
which I have not.
she is like a more international type version of Selena Kyle. It is Selena.
It is Selena Kyle, but she's Cuban.
She's Cuban. Yep. And she, for lack of a better word, takes on almost the same role as Batman in the regular DC universe, in the sense that she is a tech thief.
She's got a cat cave.
She's got a cat cave with some very cool stuff. You see her vehicle, which I don't want to spoil.
Yep.
But dang, that's cool.
She's got. I mean, there's a battle suit in the corner of one of these. We see her cat cave as she's shutting it down.
She had that cool teched out helmet too.
Yep,
That
she does.
But I think the framework and how it's kind of structured, this is Selena wanting to get out ahead of things.
She's just turned 25 and she's like, I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this jumps around to 12 years ago when we see her as like a 13-year-old. By the way, there's some almost anime and manga approach, like her landlord when he's grabbing her by the arm, like it's got that sort of face, Miyazaki-esque a little bit.
Yeah.
But so it jumps around between that
You'll
and
see
attack
some
on
supporting
her
characters and stuff.
Yep.
That if you're a Catwoman fan, you'll
know.
recognize.
Yes. And there's some big throwdowns, and at the end there's a big reveal of another big DC character.
Yeah.
I liked... so something I didn't know is I knew that her kind of sort of slightly flattened tail effect, that it was basically some kind of ammo thing. And but I just thought she was like shooting people. But you see her like you hook up the tail to the gun in this, and when she fires it, it's like little tranq darts.
Yep.
They mention it's like exactly how it works. But it made me think of back in the days when I was playing what was it, Team Fortress 2. The Doctor had that gun that fired the little syringes, and I assume it's making that same sound, which was a really cool sound.
But it is also
I appreciate that she's not a killer. I kind of didn't want her to be that.
But it is also like a prehensile tail that she can use.
She talks about how like it's like attached to the tech in her glove, so that she can like kind of maneuver it.
I like all the tech stuff. I like that she's got an AI that she talks to.
Yep.
One of her ears is a secret, and the other ear is like an it's a localized EMP.
Yep.
I just appreciate all the little things. It's sort of like what Fraction has been doing in the Batman book, and kind of like focusing in on like a piece of gear that Batman utilizes.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of we all kind of got so used to the gadgets that they became prosaic.
Yeah.
And Fraction kind of got back to maybe like reminding us, no, this is cool.
This is cool.
And this is this take on Catwoman is kind of cool because since regular Batman or Absolute Batman is kind of this just brute. And it's not that he doesn't have any tech, but his tech is kind of more like he's got his battle axe, he's got his cool wings that do stuff.
He has a giant dump truck.
Batmobile, but it's not like constantly like doing all the stuff that you did in the Arkham games.
Yes.
But Catwoman would be, but she'd be doing it kind of different too. Anyway, it's a good kickoff.
And I will say one...
Which is impressive, by the way. After Absolute Green Arrow, also a good kickoff.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that they'd kind of be losing some steam, but it ain't happening.
And I will say, this design for Catwoman is really growing on me. I was
weirded out by the big helmet at first, but now that I've kind of seen it, I really like it.
I really like this design.
I'm not saying it's better than Darwin Cook's by any means.
Nothing's going to be, but it's better than the other Catwomans.
I agree, actually. It is like my second favorite.
I would say that too.
Claw knuckles, too. She left out her claw knuckles.
Yeah, it's a good take on her, and different enough. It still feels like Catwoman, but it doesn't feel like just another Selena story in the DC universe.
We ordered very heavily on
There's
this.
A lot of them, yep.
There's some really good covers. I do expect this to sell out.
I think it's possible. We'll see.
So in other words, Nick, you're saying that people should move their asses?
I think so.
The big thing from Marvel this week is Avengers Armageddon. All of these are bagged with a magic card.
Yeah.
Because there's a magic set coming up with Marvel.
Magic the Gathering card. Not a magic card.
Not don't know.
We don't know that. We don't know. The one we opened didn't have a magic card.
I have a sense for these things.
Okay. Anyway, this is a continuation of what Zdarsky has been doing in Captain America and Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon.
Yep.
But it is also I don't think you have to have read any of that to get
it just
what
enhances.
This is. This is Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk, has swarmed into what was Latveria, which was destabilized by Doom dying after one World of Doom.
Yep.
And he has renamed it New America and named its capital Doomstat Democracy City. And he has decided, and is putting out videos to the world, that he is going to overturn authoritarian regimes all over the world by giving back democracy. Which, if that sounds familiar at all, it's probably...
I don't see any.
Yeah. You know what's funny, Randy? It reminds me of the highly satirical Starship Troopers-esque game. What's the one that's the knockoff of Starship Troopers?
Oh, Helldivers?
Helldivers, good game.
Yep.
In which you you force managed democracy onto worlds. It's almost like these satirical books have a deep roots in reality. Anyway, but the Red Hulk is I think a good villain.
He is,
for this kind of stuff.
And basically, what this first issue is the UN is telling the heroes to stand down. That they will handle it. That it's already bad enough they've got this renegade metahuman who's trying to take over the world. We don't need the metahumans fighting over it. And of course, they're ignoring them. So this is going to be a newly assembled Avengers with some new characters.
The Hulkbuster team?
Going in to take on the Red Hulk and his Hulks.
And I'm sure people are saying, well, the Avengers could take down Red Hulk. And I'm like, sure, they could. However, he has something in his possession that is allowing him to kind of preempt things.
Little laser gun?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
It's something he
Laser
got out of Dr. Doom's stash,
Right.
essentially.
Yep.
It's an
And
interesting
also, by the
setup.
way, when Red Hulk first showed up, they did make him like the absolute top dog of strength.
You mean he was punching out the Watcher?
When he was punching out the Watcher and all that stuff. But also, nowadays, they've generally more notably unified that with Thunderbolt Ross's Guile. So he's always presented as a dangerous customer.
Well, he's also psychologically unstable since Doom put him in prison for time. So he's not doing well.
I don't know if we said this. This is by Chip Zdarsky and Paco Diaz. Great creative team. The art's really good.
Would we call this the summer event for Marvel?
Yes.
It's Marvel Summer Event.
Like
Now,
it is.
It is not a crossover, though. You buy this, I think, 6-issue miniseries, and that's it.
Nice.
It's not there's not going to be much crossover.
Oh, there's not going to be bleeding
I don't
into?
I don't believe so. It is going. They are going to launch the new Avengers out of it, but I don't think there's a bunch of crossovers for this. I think this is a self-contained event.
Well, I like that.
Right. Bishop gets a new #1 by Saladin Ahmed.
The miniseries.
Yep.
Yes. I'm probably. I don't know, but Bishop. This is a sort of an explanation of who he is, which goes back to his. He grew up in the future.
Yep.
The Days of Future Past future. He had a sister who he lost. It basically and then he's confronted by a danger from that future. This is like, if you've never read Bishop, this is a good entry point.
It is.
I need to
gives
get
you
around to
everything.
reading that because I have only brushed up against his stories, but he's like one of the X-Men about whom I know the least.
Yeah.
So,
also-
but he was so cool in that Civil War special that they just did.
Yep.
That it made me. I was like, I need more Bishop in my life. Bring in this long-haired future warrior.
And there's also a cool X-Men guest star.
Yeah, there
as
is.
Well,
Yes,
that
there
I thought
is.
was really handled well.
It's Maggot.
Oh, neat.
Jay and Silent Bob, Jay's the Future Past. This is the first in a series of one-shots by Kevin Smith.
This is Marvel and Jay and Silent Bob crossing
Marvel
over.
and Jay and Silent Bob. I read this. I think I said to y'all, this is really dumb, but in that sort of charming way that Kevin Smith can be.
Yeah, I happened to find the scene when I was flipping through it where Jay is talking to the Invisible Woman.
Yes.
And cannot help but ask her a very rude question.
Yep.
And the way the follow through on that is great.
It's great. Yeah.
If you've seen Mallrats, you kind of probably know where this is going.
Yep.
But it is a riff on that whilst kind of also doing something different. If you kind of like those Kevin Smith, them rude boys with good hearts, sort of.
You know what though? There's a lot of references in here. Like it's filled with pop culture references.
Yeah.
But to the Views universe and to Marvel, and you can tell that Kevin Smith genuinely loves all of it.
Yeah.
Also, arts by Giuseppe Camuncoli is really nice.
It was.
It is very nice.
It was.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed this. It's kind of like that Jay and Silent Bob meet Archie that was surprisingly fun.
Just know, it's also stupid.
It's also dumb. Going in whether that's for you or not.
You know what you're doing.
The
You're either a Kevin Smith fan or not.
The Energon universe expands with Mask. That's Mobile Armored Strike Command with a K.
Oh,
as
it
it's
is Command
just-
with a K.
It is
Command
Command
with a K.
Okay. I really liked this.
I did
This
too.
is by Dan Waters, who wrote the Destro miniseries.
Yep.
Art by Pi Par, who I don't know, but man,
No.
is it pretty.
Really
Are they
good.
keeping the car that Matt Tracker, the main dude, drove in the 80s? Because somebody said
Yeah.
something like it's an older
It's a
model
relic,
car.
yeah. He said, yeah.
Yep.
I love that they're keeping it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you did
It's like
a new Knight Rider.
Yeah.
I don't really want to see Kit upgraded. I need him to look like Kit.
Yeah, no, it's it looks like
It's
his
like a
classic car.
Thunderbird kind of thing.
But
For those who don't know, and that's probably a lot of you,
yeah,
Mask was a toy line in the 80s.
right. Kind of
Badass toy line.
a little bit lesser known that sort of walked the line sort of between G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Yeah, because everybody had like a helmet that they wore. They were little action figures,
Yep.
and they all came with a vehicle. And the vehicle turned into two different vehicles. Like there was a motorcycle that turned into a helicopter.
Helicopter.
Yeah.
There's a helicopter that turns into a plane. That's belongs to Miles Mayhem,
Sure.
the subtly named villain of the piece.
And Matt Tracker, the main dude, has this cool, like, I don't know, was that a Camaro or
It's a
something?
muscle car,
It's
but
a
when the
Trans
doors
Am
open,
kind
it
of
becomes a plane.
Right, yeah, the doors kind of swing open.
They got that gull wing
Guns
thing.
pop out, and it's like a shield flying car.
So yeah, it's transferring vehicles and pseudo military guys,
Now,
and this is
Before
all.
you say that, Randy,
Yep.
just real quick, they've been popping up in G.I. Joe in small ways.
A little bit,
Tracker-
yeah.
As far back
Tracker
as a
has
year
been-
ago, because the Free Comic Book Day special showed him.
Yeah.
And I was skeptical at first. I was like, oh, I don't want to grow out the Energon universe. I like what they're doing, but I didn't really care about Mask that much as a kid. I don't know. Although I did have a few Mask toys. Yeah. But then they kind of won me over in those small appearances because they were really cool. And now, here they come swinging out with this thing, and they got me.
I
Yeah.
feel like they've merged the two properties in such a way that it doesn't, like, step on each other's toes.
Yeah.
Well, they keep on making decisions that are the right ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't want to spoil what happens in this.
Well, but this is going to be. Whereas everything, G.I. Joe is like the arm. They were formed to take on, to like get Energon for the government, essentially.
Right,
They're-
right.
To take on the robots. This is wilder. This is like, it's almost like Planetary. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of weird sci-fi shit.
Well, yeah,
and this guy wants it, and Tracker wants to protect people from it.
Yep.
And Tracker in this is freaking cool.
He is.
I want to, because
He's-
there's something I can't talk about unless you've read the issue.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like he's got more cards going on than you think.
Yep.
I mean, he's kind of like Ethan Hunt from Mission
Yes,
Impossible.
100%.
There
Yes.
you go.
He
Yes.
is
There you
very
go.
much... He is the man with the plan.
He's like
but-
3 steps ahead.
But if Ethan Hunt was also like a scientific genius.
Correct.
Because he's also, Ethan is like a field leader, but he's not like a strategist. You always have your Alec Baldwins or whoever else.
Yeah.
This is him as head of the IMF and lead agent for the IMF.
Yes.
And he has a transforming car.
And they,
But I like that they
And
kept
a helmet
some-
with laser beams in it.
They also keep with a lot of the lore of Mask. I mean, he
you were
has a
saying
kid.
that it fits.
That was part of the story.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember
So
the
it was
lore.
kind of nice to do all that, and we get some villains that were
Yep,
recognizable.
there's some good, colorful villains in this, and you get to see there's some bad dudes.
I'm excited to
but
see
what
more
I-
of the Masked team.
What I kind of really liked, and again, I'm not going to say too much about it, but there is sort of like you're sort of seeing how he might or might not integrate with like the G.I. Joe team.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how that's Mask is going to work in there.
Yep.
And the way where they landed, I really like. Like it kind of shows how cool this dude is. He feels a little bit like, like the Joes, they are elevated soldiers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But this guy almost feels like a step above them even. And I kind of appreciated how cool they made him. It's a really good first issue. If you were doing the Energon universe, you really should read this.
Yeah, you should check it out.
I want to say, I am, we're 5 books in this week, and there's already like 3 books that could have been my pick of the week.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is a very good week. Image has, but I also want to say, Mask has the corner box. So you can
Yes.
see the little helmets.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
a corner box. It's an old throwback to the 80s. I always love when they do
The
that.
helmets, by the way, aside from just looking cool, they're like these tech helmets
Yep.
that they wear. They do stuff. They're like each
Yep.
one has like some
Unique
cool
ability.
ability. Almost like they have a one-off superpower. Blasting some rays,
Yep.
doing some. I feel like there's mind control-y stuff in
There's
there.
cool stuff in
Miles
there.
may have something, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I assume it's the same.
I need to look at behind the scenes of the old toys and see what it is everybody's stuff does.
Also, they morph onto their head, kind of like the reverse of that Here's a Surprise lady from Total Recall.
Yes.
I was going to say just sort of like Iron Man's helmet or Iron Spider.
But David's
no.
very specifically a helmet, therefore.
yeah, okay.
I think Randy's choice is apt.
All right, if you want to drive away by making him think that lady's face is going to form onto Matt Tracker.
Look, that's a cool moment, and anyone who thinks
Ready for a
otherwise is wrong.
surprise.
Jay Lee, along with writers who I don't, Lily and Robert Wyndham, they're writers I don't know, has a new book from Image called M1 Monster Racing League. This has great visuals. It takes
Would you
place
say it's a little Speed Racer-ish?
a little bit, but also a little bit Fast and Furious.
Okay.
And they all race using standard cars. You're not allowed to modify your car except to change the color. So it's all about who has the best skill. And it's a girl who moves to Japan sort of against her will. She's a teenager. Japan likes its schoolgirls. And she meets another
Her
girl.
outfit looks like a bit of a riff, but like a changed up riff, but it looks like Bruce Lee's martial arts.
Yeah, for
of it,
sure.
At least the colors.
She meets another girl who runs a cat cafe because she misses her cat. And they bond. And turns out this girl knows about the street racing scene, and that coincidentally, this American girl used to be a street racer.
racing. Yeah.
So
it's kind of a heightened sort of fun sort of outing. Where's the monster stuff coming?
So that is on the last page. They don't tell us about the monster stuff till later.
Okay.
But I believe this is going to be a little bit Sentai.
Okay.
Like Sentai, but racing instead of fighting.
I mean, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
By the way, Jay Lee is not one of the... It's not like always a known name.
Right.
He's a sort of a stylized artist who does lots and lots of covers. He does the occasional interior, but he has a kind of inky, slick style that looks really, really cool. And you know, like you'll never mistake him for another artist once you see his style.
I'm not always wild about his storytelling, but these are really pretty pages. Like
Yeah.
I like all the art.
But I sort of feel like if you kind of can enjoy the goofy fun of Fast and Furious or the sort of pop visuals of the Speed Racer movie from the Wachowskis, that you might want to check out M1.
Masters of the Universe movie came out. I believe Dave's the only one who's seen it, but there is a miniseries by...
It's like a side story.
Is the side story that was like a prequel?
No, it's a side story.
It's a side story because basically in the movie, without saying too much, Prince Adam basically gets sent to Earth. That's obvious from the trailers.
Right, yeah.
He's there for like a couple decades as he grows up, or maybe
is this what's happening while he's gone?
Yes. And it is basically Skeletor's taken over.
Okay.
And I just from the solicit, it made it sound like there's some refugee who takes in, they said, a magical falcon, which that's the sorceress probably.
Yeah.
And I think basically they're going to have to get aid from other He-Man heroes.
Someone else magical is in this
Let
one.
me ask you an important question.
Yeah.
Is Orko in the movie?
Briefly.
Okay. All right. Orko is in this comic, and I was like, is he going to die?
The Orko is shown so briefly, it's kind of hard to say.
He appears to be the lead of this series.
Isn't this written by Tim Seeley?
It's written by Tim Sheridan.
Oh, Tim Sheridan.
Who has been doing a lot of
Tyler
Master Universe. No. He's been doing a lot of the Master Universe stuff for Dark Horse. I believe he worked on the Kevin Smith show.
Oh, okay.
And he is the Master Universe expert.
So he took a break from Yellowstone.
Yes.
To...
Yep.
Oh, sorry, different Sheridan.
Different Sheridan.
He took a break from the Babylon 5 space station.
That's a different Sheridan as well.
Oh, those are the only ones I know.
Those are the only two you know.
Yeah.
If you had another one, I'd be
keep
impressed.
going, but it's as good as far as the gag can go.
The third Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater comes out this week. Previously, we've had Romeo and Juliet.
Yep.
And
Robin? No, that was a side story.
There was another one though.
They do.
It was another Shakespeare one, I think.
But they also did like oh my gosh, what's the Great Gatsby?
Great Gatsby. That was the first one. Yeah. So this is the Odyssey.
Yep.
Which I'm trying to determine. Oh, so there's a Trojan Godzilla left. That opens the first page. They left a Trojan Godzilla.
Right. So this has I read just a little bit of it.
Yep.
This is in this world. Godzilla is the symbol of Zeus's mightiest power. He's like, if he sends Godzilla, you know you're in trouble. So they give the Trojans in tribute a giant wooden Godzilla, which of course the Odysseus and his dudes pour out of it and do their thing. But yes, it reimagines. It's just a one shot. But it reimagines the story of Odysseus with multiple kaiju in it.
Yep.
Like the Cyclops. Minor spoiler. I don't know the name of that kaiju.
But yeah, I know that monster.
But it's that one with like sort of the hook hands, and it does only have one eye.
Yep.
And
Scylla of the
Scylla and Charybdis.
Is in there as one of the monsters.
Yeah, basically. A bunch of Godzilla kaiju make their way into the Odyssey there. It's fun. This is written by Frank Thierry, who did the other Godzilla thing that I think people are liking, the Dragons.
Godzilla vs. Aliens, Godzilla Here Baby Dragons.
Yeah, he's found his milkshake.
He also did Aliens vs. Captain America, which we all kind of liked.
Yeah, maybe this is the guy to be doing. He's the guy to be doing licensed books right now.
Yeah. Speaking of monsters, there's a one shot from Dark Horse called Monsters in Love: A Pride Anthology. It's for all the gay monster fuckers out there.
This is the is this the Monster High, or is it?
No, it's not Monster High. This is for grown-ups.
Okay.
This is James Tinian's book.
Oh, Tinian.
So the framing sequence seems to feature
Tinian
this.
Is like he's at a bunch of different companies.
He's not the only one in here, but the framing sequence has someone looks like that Christopher Chaos.
Yeah.
In like a comic shop, and then he's reading Monsters in Love, and then we get to there's sort of a gay vampire romance that James Tinian writes with some nice art. There's a piece in here by Lila Sturgis.
Okay.
There's a lot of monster and witch love in here.
That's cool. I'll
Really
check that
pretty
out.
art.
I like
Yeah.
some Naughty Monsters. Let's. I'll be interested to see that.
And
all of the art is good.
It's got that prestige format
Some good
thing.
writers. Yeah, it's that. It's like it's got the square bound binding on it.
So yeah, Dynamite has a book called Altered States Warlords, which is basically going to pit all their characters against each other or together.
Oh, this is their crossover one.
Red Sonja, Vampirella, John Carter of Mars, and some other guy. It's not Conan. Is it Tarzan?
It's Tarzan.
It's Tarzan.
Yeah.
So this first issue is basically Red Sonja winds up on Barsoom, which is Mars,
Okay.
and that's what this first issue is about. But if that sounds interesting to you,
That sounds fun.
yeah. There is also a Tarzan Beyond from Alien Books, which is an imprint of, I believe, IDW.
Oh.
They also have Valiant. I think this is all them. This seems to be a modern Tarzan, because I saw, it looks like a modern military helicopter, and some other stuff that seems to be maybe that he and Jane have already met, and this is them coming back together. I think it's just to read the whole thing.
Okay.
But nice sort of painty art. If you're looking for sort of a modern Tarzan, you might want to give this one a
Who's
look.
not? Real quick aside, because I think you mentioned something about Valiant.
Mm-hmm.
I know there will be more official announcements to come, but isn't Robert Kirkman spearheading some new Valiant titles?
It's the Robot Magnus fight, or
Yeah, the Gold Key books.
yeah, the gold key
those are
ones.
gonna come over
Turok.
to Image or to his.
I think
Skybound.
so.
Skybound
Is it Skybound?
line?
Okay. So Magnus, Solar,
Is
and
it Turok?
Turok would be the
Yeah,
ones.
I am interested. Given how well he oversaw the
Yeah.
G.I. Joe, Transformers,
Yeah.
Energon universe, and I think a lot of people have some fondness if you were a '90s kid for the Valiant era. I am interested to see him rebuild those characters. I'm
agreed.
curious to see what he's going to do.
We have a new book from Ignition Press, which tends to do sort of horror-tinged books. This is written by Andy Parks, who is a longtime inker of Phil Hester.
Oh yeah,
Has written some stuff I really like. He wrote a Truman Capote novel or graphic novel at one point that I really loved,
Like a bio?
20 years ago. It was during Truman Capote's time when he's with the other female writer who's like his best friend. I forget who it is.
right.
It's
Not Dorothy Parker.
no, God, Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Her.
Oh my god.
Everyone's yelling at their podcast right now.
Right.
I don't remember her name. Hunter S. Thompson. Let's just say her name is Hunter S. Thompson.
Yes, Huntress.
Anyway, the writer
Huntress
of To
Thompson.
Kill the writer of To Kill a Mockingbird, she and Truman were friends,
Yeah.
and this was when he was researching In Cold Blood.
Right.
She's with him when they're talking to the murderer and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. And it was a really good biographical story. I think Andy Pikes is a good writer who hasn't written a ton of stuff.
It's interesting.
Harper Lee.
What's that?
Harper
Lee. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know who did the art for that book?
Who?
Chris Samney.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why I like it so much. This one has art by a guy named Dave Wachter, who I don't know who that is, but the art's really nice. The premise of this book, Bad Thoughts, is a sort of a spec ops team where one of the guys is telepathic. And he has trouble sort of keeping everybody's thoughts at bay, but when he goes in, he's like the civilian telepath for a military ops group. And he can sort of sense where the villains are and that kind of thing using his telepathy.
Do they know he's telepathic?
They know he's telepathic.
Okay.
He is an asset for that. Yeah. So, interesting. And it's got a couple twists at the end. But it was an interesting premise. I'd be curious to see more of that one.
Randy, the asset's been compromised.
Yep.
The asset is being extracted by Tango Down, Randy. I just wanted to throw some
Tango
jargon
Down, yeah.
in there.
And then we have Skate Ali by Sam Humphries and Kelly Sudaconic, which is in a sort of... the artist is Natasha Bustos.
It was
who
nice looking art.
Did some really good Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of got a cool pop style.
Yeah. So this is a world in which skateboarding is outlawed, and only outlaws have skateboards.
Is that right?
Pretty much.
It looks... that art kind of... Do you mind holding it up for just a second?
Yeah.
So, I was thinking it reminded me a little bit of I don't know, the Gorillaz animation or something
But
like
also
that.
Brian Lee O'Malley.
Yeah, Brian Lee
for
O'Malley,
sure.
maybe a little Sophie Campbell.
But yeah, these is they're sort of outlaw skateboarders. There's holographic pipes and
Okay, yeah.
and energy boards and stuff like that. But there's a fascistic society that they are sort of skateboarding against.
Okay, right, good.
So it looks like fun.
I appreciate a classic. The punks are the rebels.
Exactly. We have some second printings. Ben 10 #1 which Ben 10 number 2 also comes out this week.
Yep. The one of the breakout franchise books of the last couple months.
We sold out like within minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another big surprise. Daredevil has been doing really, really well. Stephanie Phillips' Daredevil number 3 is out this week, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It is kind of that weird thing where it's like, I don't know if like there may be Daredevil stories I've liked more in recent years.
Yeah.
But this one is our best-selling Daredevil.
It also it co-stars Spider-Man. Spider-Man's doing some interesting training with Daredevil, which I thought was really cool.
Such a smart idea.
Omen is a really interesting new villain.
Yep.
And the art by Lee Garbett is really nice.
It is.
It is. By the way, there's a shot in here that I feel like is a big thirst trap shot.
Yes,
This one I'm like, Matt Murdock is. I'm a straight person, but Matt Murdock has never been sexier than here, where he's decostuming with Spider-Man around.
We need a Daredevil Nightwing thirst.
I
like it.
We will sell 10 million.
Yeah, we would sell so many. Anyway, we have a new printing of number 2. There will be a new printing of number 1 coming in about 2 weeks. So you can still catch up on the series.
Very cool.
We have a reprint of the latest issue of Battle Beast, which also sold out for us.
Such a fun book.
And then we have a facsimile edition of Amazing Spider-Man number 546, which is the start of the Brand New Day era.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Which I think, is this Dan Slott or Mark Waid? I meant to grab it.
I thought it was Slott.
Or is it Mark Guggenheim?
I don't know.
In any case, this is probably loosely tied into the movie.
Yes, because it was Brand New Day is what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it was from 20 it's not so long ago. I guess it's like 10 years ago now, actually, thinking about it. It is Dan Slott and Mark Guggenheim, Steve McNiven, and Greg Land.
Okay.
This is when Spider-Man was going to be a 3 times a month book.
Right.
They had a bunch of different creative teams.
Yeah.
It felt like a little bit like they were doing Spider-Man like the old Superman S.H.I.E.L.D. era from the 90s.
So this is the first appearance of Mr. Negative, and this is the first appearance of Jackpot.
Yep. And then there was
also the first appearance of Feast.
Oh, yeah.
This particular issue?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's actually a lot in one thing.
Yeah.
I was looking through, they did that graphic novel that had kind of like some highlights from that, from the last, from that same era, from maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's part of Marvel's new $10 trade program, and
Right.
I've sold several of those. I think it's a good idea from them.
Yep.
But flipping through that one, that had some such good artwork. So you mentioned McNiven, but there was some great stuff from Chris Bacallo.
I think Marcos Martin was on some of
Marcos
those?
Martin, I forget who all else, but it was just I was like, man, that was I forgot how good the art was.
They put a lot of because One More Day was
not
somewhat controversial.
Yes.
But also this was their big relaunch of Spidey, and there was a lot of good people on it.
Right. I guess Brand New Day was the new initiative, right?
Yeah.
But One More Day, in which the marriage of Pete and MJ was kind of written out of existence because of demon stuff, was hated, is still hated.
Yep. Rightly so.
And but now looking back, we can at least say some good stories have come out of this. The creative teams have been giving it their all, and so yeah.
Other single issues this week. Again, a lot of my favorite books. Supergirl, which I've been really enjoying. This is Sophie Campbell's Supergirl.
Yep.
Second issue of Barbara Gordon Breakout. Did you guys get a chance to read this?
Yes, I didn't get a chance to.
Man, it's really good. Barbara's on the inside. She was attacked first things.
Prison.
Yes.
Just so people don't know.
I'm curious to find out what's going on.
There's some sort of trippy stuff going on.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
There's some fear gas weirdness involved.
She has someone who may or may not be an ally. There's this hint that maybe she's people are trying to kill her in the prison.
Yeah.
And she went in there for a certain thing, but
is any of it paranoia?
Yeah, some of that. Yeah.
There's a Jim Gordon.
There's a great scene between Jim Gordon and Nightwing.
Yep.
The two people who most want to break her out.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, she told us not to do it.
Right.
I like how this is.
That was the cool reveal, by the way, at the end of the first issue.
Yeah.
Kind of near the end of the first issue, was that she let herself.
She set this all up because there are people being murdered in this prison.
Yeah.
It feels like it's working hand in hand with Batman, the book right now, which is great.
This week, the controversial Fury of Firestorm number 3 comes out.
Yep.
And when I say controversial, what I mean is
staff.
I enjoyed it so much it was almost my pick of the week. This could easily be my pick of the week. And Nick and Dave hated it the way I hated Identity Crisis. In almost exactly the same way, actually.
Right. It's one of those things. To kind of jump back to something non-comicsy. A few years back, that movie Smile came out. That horror movie. Nick, you and I particularly hated Smile.
Yes.
Not that it didn't have some effective scenes and some spooky stuff in it, but because it was a story that thematically was about generational loss, kind of like generational trauma. I mean,
you can't escape it.
And their sort of ending was like, oh, it'll always get you in the end.
Yep.
You're doomed. So don't go jump off a building or something like that. This has a sort of an energy like that where I'm like, I hate its theme. I'm still gonna read these first 6 issues because I like Jeff Lemire and I want to see what he wants to do with it. Even in this, I can see where he might be trying to wrangle the story, but it does something I don't like.
But I hate its themes. I hate its characters' choices.
Yeah.
So, this isn't everything you know is wrong, basically. That's what this is. And
there's a big reveal.
They're doing some Firestorm origin tinkering, which y'all did not like, and I was okay with. Although, I 100% understand where you guys are coming from.
There are moments in this issue that I think are good.
There's some great stuff with Jason Rush, who was once part of Firestorm. That's all really good. Their take on Firehawk, again, really, really good. The reasoning behind Firestorm's powers and why he's going a little crazy right now is interesting.
Yeah.
But
I talked about this off mic with you, Randy, that back in 1985 when Alan Moore redid Swamp Thing, we talked about the reprint of it just the other week, the anatomy lesson, his start. I'm like, if you liked classic Swamp Thing from the 70s, who was basically a sad muck monster, who was very much like the Hulk, helping people out but always tragically trying to cure himself and never able to quite do it. It was formulaic, but it was kind of just a cool monster hero book. It would never be that again after Alan Moore took over. Now, Alan Moore's writing was so good that I think a lot of people just kind of forgave it. That was so interesting, and he opened up lots of new doors for what a Swamp Thing could do. Certainly became a much more broader concept book. And I feel like something like that is happening here. And I feel like I'm the guy who's like, I like it when he was a swamp monster.
You're not alone. I like a more kind of classic... I'm just...
but also, by the way, the reason I didn't care about it when I've read Swamp Thing stuff, like I actually wasn't reading any Swamp Thing one way or the other in the 80s. I came to it a little bit late in the 90s.
Yeah.
But like, Alan Moore's thing didn't bug me much because I didn't know anything about Swamp Thing. So I didn't know this is a betrayal of the character. Firestorm, as a character, I've only have like some loose contact with. I bought some random issues when I was a kid, but somehow I'm still bugged by this. Yeah. It's a little bit beyond the pale.
That's fair. I mean, like I say, I understand where y'all are coming from. I just had a very different reaction.
People need to buy all the copies
it.
and tell us if we're right or wrong.
Yeah, you will be the tiebreakers for us.
Either way, y'all got to say the art is pretty good, right?
It is. It's great. It's great.
There's an opening bit where Firestorm is fighting the Justice League, and he
is casually using his powers at maximum.
And Hawkgirl coming in to hit him with a mace, and he just turns into flowers.
Yeah,
is great.
He also just like sets Martian Manhunter on fire. Yep.
So this is a really happy book.
It's a happy book. You know what's funny though is one of the things I like about Firestorm traditionally is actually that he, for all that he should be super powerful, I like that he's not super powerful.
Yeah, they're definitely treating him as more super powerful.
That it is more like it's kind of like the Green Lantern on Earth thing, where you're like, this power level should be doing big things and fighting squadrons of alien ships and stuff like that. Probably not grabbing a bank robber. But at the same time, it's kind of charming on Firestorm. So, anyway, we'll see where this goes.
My pick of the week out of all the possibilities is Civil War Unmasked #2.
Yep.
This is another Christos Gage. I love Christos Gage's miniseries he did. He did that Weapon X one that was like all the alternate world Wolverines from different timelines.
Oh, yeah.
And then he did Battle World, which is his own sort of riff on Secret Wars.
He has a particular love of Marvel lore.
He's also really good at DC ones, too. His Deadshot one was great.
Yeah. He's also just a good moment-to-moment writer.
Right? Yes.
So the Civil War Unmasked as a series is revealing lost moments in the iconic 20-year-old now?
I believe it's 20 years old.
Civil War miniseries.
Which we all universally hate.
Yes. Yeah, that is a pretty hated book here, despite good art by Steve McNiven. Yep. A lot of characters are kind of pushed into square pegs into round holes to make the drama happen.
Yep.
But what this series is about, and why I'm also... I think I'm enjoying it as much as you, Randy. Like, it's close to my pick of the week. It may be my pick of the week. Is he's taking it and he's kind of... It's very much like what Dave Filoni did with the Clone Wars stuff, where he would take the prequel concepts and find ways to make them cool.
He kind of presses pause on these big moments and kind of
like, let's add some depth. And let's show some things that weren't shown in the hullabaloo of it all, And like when I'm like, oh well, when he does it, it's pretty good.
Specifically, this one is the moment when Spider-Man decides to reveal his identity, but after being pushed by Tony Stark to do it.
Yeah.
And this shows how he wrestled with it.
Yeah, and talked it over with May and Mary Jane, who at this time both know he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he and Mary Jane are married. This is my favorite status quo for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He was
that
also
they utterly ruined.
He was also a teacher.
He was also a teacher,
Which is a good idea.
This is
Which is such a good.
This is my favorite Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's cool is like I feel like Gage is always thinking. So he's like, okay, he's like MJ and Aunt May. He's like, if I do this, I'm like, first of all, you're gonna have to like deal with security issues kind of for the rest of your life. You know, like there's gonna be people watching you. Maybe they'll be more invisible, but it's like it's gonna be a thing. And May is like, she has very interesting perspective. She says something like, I'm okay with it. She's like, honestly, I've lived a long life.
Yep.
And she's like, it means that I'm a little bit more removed from the, like, worry of it all.
But she actually it says, like, if the end comes, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I felt like she really was talking like somebody who had lived a life.
Well, and he and Mary Jane are talking about how, like, with this, that he'd be having some money, and they can talk about having a family and having kids, and
even that is sort of nuanced. She's like,
Yeah.
oh man, she's like, I'm not quite ready to talk about that, but she's like, I'd love to have the opportunity to talk about
also,
it.
the only thing about this is like, the idea that May and Mary Jane are living in Avengers Tower, and Spidey's an Avenger. I didn't like any of that part, but even that kind of works in this context.
In this context, yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's like he grew up and got an adult job.
You know what I like is, I think, didn't they sort of do the idea that MJ is like, she's like, I don't know if you're as aware of this, but she's like, because maybe she's been a model and she's kind of been famous, she's like, I'm actually already kind of always on the watch.
It's Aunt May who says it. She's like, Peter, have you not noticed that when you're with May, nobody's looking at you either anyway?
Right.
She's like, I love you, but she's a supermodel. No one is looking at you when you're with her.
Right, and she's like, she's like, I've got a taser. I've got, she's kind of like already somewhat mentally acclimated. In other words, basically, I think what a lot of women have also gone through broadly is like, I'm always sort of ready.
Aunt May says, I'll say this for Mary Jane so she doesn't have to seem modest. Look at her. If she's not with you, she gets approached all the time.
Yeah. Gage was very much thinking about it with this.
Gage is able to sort of get the voices right for the characters, where Miller never could.
Go ahead.
No, he just kind of had an idea and wrote that idea regardless
into
of
whatever character's mouths he wanted to.
This feels like Peter grappling with an issue.
Yep. And his version of Tony in here is also right. Like, it's all... Gage gets the characters. I would love for him to write bigger books at Marvel. I think he works a ton in TV.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't have time to be...
I think he loves these characters.
Oh, he absolutely does. You can tell.
By the way, there's also two interesting fights in this issue. There's one with, I think it's okay to say, Hydro Man.
Yep.
And there's another with a sort of a third or fifth tier Spider-Man.
Fifth tier,
And it is both kind of funny and sad at the same time, and it sort of sets up a little bit of the themes that are going to be happening in the story.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was really good.
Yeah.
And I guess the next issue is going to focus on a Goliath character.
A.k.a. Bill Foster.
Who gets killed in Civil War.
Yes.
Spoilers for a 20-year-old book.
Yeah.
Yep. I am actually really looking forward to it.
Same.
When I was a kid, I had one of the... I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but like one of the first comics that kind of had an emotional impact on me was one with Bill Foster in it. And so I always liked the character, even though he only showed up just once in a blue moon.
Yep.
And but I was glad he made it into the Marvel movies. Who was it? Lawrence Fishburne played him, right?
I'm just saying, I didn't think I'd ever own a Civil War book on my shelf, but I might get one.
This one's coming out swinging.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am the only one here still keeping up with Mortal Thor, which is 11 issues in.
It's not because we don't like it. I think
you just lost track of it.
Just lost track of it, and sort of a.
I mean, who doesn't love a Sigurd Jarlsson running around with a regular hammer, smashing people over the head?
Now the hammer's attached to his arm with a cord.
It is a bunch of
it comes back to him.
Yeah, I know.
But he's also like, by the way, didn't he like specifically mash up some Nazis?
He did.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I really like that.
He has been taking on Thor's bad guys with no Thor powers.
Jesus.
And been doing it in sort of a smart way where he fought Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
So this issue, number 11, Jesus Sayas art, by the way, which is really nice. He is facing off with the Minotaur, who is the head of Roxxon after Jason Aaron's run.
Okay.
And the Minotaur is basically like telling him... The Minotaur seems to know like what's going on. he doesn't really. He's like, why is this?
Is it Taurus?
It's the Minotaur.
Okay.
It's the Minotaur.
I don't know who the Minotaur is.
Yeah, from Greek mythology, but he is now a smart guy.
Okay.
And a corporate raider. And basically, he's trying to... Sigurd Jarlsson has been getting in the way of all his corporate maneuverings, and they're at the top of his office, and he's trying to buy him out. Mm-hmm. And Sigurd Jarlsson is like, no, we're going to fight. And the guy's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm a Minotaur, and you're a dude with a hammer. And the way it plays out is really fun and satisfying.
This is Al Ewing, right?
It's Al Ewing. It looks like he is building up to giving Thor his powers and his memories back.
One of my favorite things that Ewing wrote recently was the Ultimate or Absolute Evil.
Yeah,
I think he did
Yeah,
that. For
that's right. I
DC.
forgot that was him.
And I was kind of not really wanting to be into that book. I was like, I don't necessarily need to read just a bad guy book or whatever.
Yep.
But it was just every page was something fascinating.
I don't mean. Oh no, go ahead.
No, that's all.
I don't want to jump ahead to graphic novels, but I just finished reading the first volume of Absolute Green Lantern, which is him, and the second volume of that comes out this week, and I'm really excited. I really think Ewing reads well in large chunks.
Yeah,
I agree.
He sometimes has some subtle stuff going on that's a little hard to digest on a serial basis.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a very talented writer.
Anyway, I'm really liking Mortal Thor. I would recommend it to people. The first trade is out, but as the second half of this goes, I'm really enjoying it. X-Men, Jed McKay's X-Men gets a new jumping on point. This is Anomaly Part 1.
I read this having not read the last several issues, and I quite enjoyed it.
This is Beast leading the X-Men science team into a weird phenomena that he has discovered. And there's some fun stuff in here, but also the dangerous evil mutants of 3K are lurking in the shadows.
Yep, it's got stuff with who's the psychic kid whose name Quentin is in there. Zorn is in there. He's kind of using some of the characters who evolved or changed from in Grant Morrison's run. Sometimes because Marvel didn't know what to do with them, they went through some weird stuff.
Who's the Tiger Lady?
That's Animalia. She's a new character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
They do some interesting stuff with her in this. But this was just a really good standalone issue.
It is.
With a bunch of kind of cool bits in it, and it kind of has that sort of marching through a dangerous zone and taking in the terrain, but along the way you're going to see Beast talking to Magneto and stuff like that, and they have interesting conversations.
I don't know if it's because of Mark Morales on inks. I didn't realize this was Tony Daniel, who I'm not always a huge fan of, but this is great
I would not
work.
have placed
It's
it.
really nice.
He seems an evolution.
Yeah.
Like that cop right there, is that a cop? Yeah, he's a Canadian, RCMP or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, this is in Canada, and you know what that
means. But that's a good facial design.
It is.
That shows a bit of nuance that I wasn't expecting.
It's a little looser than his more kind of. I don't want to say top cow.
Well, it doesn't look as extreme.
Yeah, I think the ink's probably made a difference, and he's drawing sort of a different thing.
Yeah.
There is Paul Jenkins has doing Captain Marvel Dark Past. I've struggled to find Captain Marvel books I like, despite liking the character so much. I really like this one where Carol and her best buddy Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, are investigating in the current day, which ties into a story that goes back into her Miss Marvel days. It's a really good story. It's got some new characters in it. It also features the Wrecking Crew.
There's some surprisingly good books that have retro stuff going on in them and that handle it well. So we just talked about what was the book in here? The Civil War. And then there's this one, and I know there's some other ones that have been doing flashbacks lately. God, what was it that I just saw the other week that I was like, oh, this is how flashback done, kind of how I want it to. But anyway, but it's funny, Randy, because I know that you're struggling a little bit more with Jenkins's Century.
Yeah, I was just say Century is also this week. Yeah,
that's his kind of dark one where he is actually outright said in interviews now that the sort of framing device in this, which is Century, his dog is dying and he can't. It's it's kind of like when Superman can't save somebody. It is just brutally hanging over that. Jenkins was literally processing that real event, and it's almost a bit much for almost anybody who's owned a pet. I can understand this is a bit of a trigger kind of thing, but it's interesting that I guess it kind of shows you that people do have facets. They have different speeds, and it's cool. I mean, I like that he's that the Captain Marvel one is working so well.
Yeah,
and honestly, I have liked the Sentry one despite it's kind of being a little emotionally intense. I was telling Randy off mic the other day that sometimes I could be I'll sort of find myself more interested in a flawed but personal comic than in a sort of better crafted but kind of corporate comic or just kind of ho-hum comic. We'll see if Jenkins can pull it off for me. I haven't read this latest issue, but it's that's cool. I kind of want to read that Captain Marvel. I think when it comes out in trade.
Yeah, and then G.I. Joe: Real American Hero, Larry Hama's G.I. Joe with really nice art by Paul Pelletier.
I really liked this.
This is part 2, or maybe even part 3 of a story involving the various ninjas or the various Snake Eyes. Not even all the ninjas. There are 3 versions of Snake Eyes.
Yeah,
this ties into a thing with
less. That sounds terrible to me. But this one is more like there's 3 people who have had Snake Eyes memory sort of imprinted on them at some point. They're not all I am Snake Eyes. But some of the I think there is Snake Eyes, and then there's people who have aspects of Snake Eyes.
There's the Lady Snake Eyes.
Yeah. But in practice, what this is about is something that Hama's particularly good at: 3 mission teams and a subplot that frames them all, in which you find out that Dr. Venom, the very cool bad guy, a love-to-hate-him bad guy from the 1982 and 83, that was his heyday, that far back. And yet this character, although he is dead, is kind of living on in a way, and he has this contingency plan that's going to trigger. And along the way, you're seeing all kinds of Joes who, if you're a fan of the Joes, you're always happy to see ones who just don't get a lot of airtime. Law and Order show up in this.
Yeah.
What is that?
Helix.
Yep, and there's Beachhead in there.
I saw Mainframe.
There's tons of callbacks to stuff that I read back in the day. Basically, the brainwave scanner that was a big part of Dr. Venom's early story. That they do mention is stitching together sort of a virtual reality AI version of what those things were, so that someone can walk through and inhabit those memories now. And they're showing scenes that were important to Snake Eyes, and I'm oh, all right, I remember this G.I. Joe special or annual where Scarlet and Snake Eyes, wearing a mask because of his facial scarring and stuff like that, were on a Staten Island ferry, and they were getting hot dogs, and they got attacked by some bad guys. But you see, walking through the memories, you see the food sitting around, and the sort of Dr. Mindbender is oh, yes, he's or he picks up an M60 at some point that was Snake Eyes, reminding him of the days in Vietnam. And he's it's still warm. And it's kind of cool. He's walking through this weird dreamscape that's kind of semi-real, at least in the VR world. Anyway, it's setting up a fun, dangerous thing is about to happen. Basically, old Dr. Venom's plan is about to spring, and it's a little bit like Order 66, but for the Joes, and it's kind of cool.
Any other single issues? Did I miss anything?
Did we mention Transformers?
I did not.
Transformers with this very awesome, who's that, DNA? Who's that?
David Nakayama.
David Nakayama cover. I think, Nick, you and I both kind of particularly like this issue, which is almost a downtime issue where you kind of see what everybody is up to. You see some unfamiliar faces. If same as with the G.I. Joe, if you like these characters, if you had toys and stuff like that, you're going to be oh, cool. Look, Springer and what's his name?
Well, that's been pretty cool because
they're from Void Rivals.
Yeah, they've been in Void Rivals forever.
Right? They have now entered. It looks like they're going to be involved in sort of stuff in the more mainstream plot. Blue Streak shows up on Cybertron. Yep. There's some very interesting developments with Optimus now that he is given up his prime title.
He is now Orion Pax.
And it has physically changed him and mentally changed him, and he's aware of the changes, and has some interesting conversations with RC about that.
And also RC's going through some stuff too,
because she assumed the rank of Magnus, so the Ultra Magnus.
RC
thing.
Magnus.
Yeah. You got aerial bots in this, with some interesting
things going on with Megatron.
Yep. Some cool stuff with Wheeljack here.
Yep. I'm guessing as to what Wheeljack finds.
Interesting. I'll have to ask you off mic later, because I don't quite know what we would be thinking that might be. But I have a feeling maybe I do know what it might be. Now that I think about it. And there's a very fun ending.
Yes,
it kind of calls back a certain Transformers animated story.
I think what we've been what you have said countless times. It hasn't bothered me as much about kind of the endless war that this book has been in.
Right.
This felt like a break in pace.
Right.
Where
It's like almost like, not quite like one of those X-Men issues where they'd be playing baseball, but sometimes something like that where you'd be like, that'd be part, a few pages of the issue, but then you'd also be like, oh, they're showing, Nightcrawler's recovering from some injuries, and he has an interesting conversation with Storm.
Yeah.
And then there's a little subplot where Rogue goes off and does this. And it felt like one of those kind of issues, which I really like.
Yeah, I mean, the Transformers cartoon was always endless action just because that's what kids want. And kids... I feel like Kirkman does know that, we have to do some character moments. We've got to slow things down. We've got to show them...
I need a little less wartime atrocities and a little bit more adventure.
Yeah, and he's pairing up interesting characters with each other.
Yeah.
Like their new character, who's the van?
The van, oh my gosh.
Shell, or so whatever. It's basically Carly's van, or
her painted van.
Teaming up with Cliffjumper, and... I don't know. There's just a lot of fun stuff in here, and I'm excited to see where it keeps going. Shredhead. I knew it was very
like
metal.
A metal name, yeah.
But, I don't know. I think Kirkman's doing some really good stuff with it. And I like Jason Howard as a guest artist on it as well.
And lastly, I wanted to mention another licensed book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 19 here, continuing Gene Luen Yang's takeover from the book from when it was... Jason Aaron for the first 12 issues. So he is well into his run here. We have seen, essentially recently, the reunion of the... I don't know exactly how this works in the revamped Turtle continuity, Randy. Maybe, I feel like you looked into it recently because you were reading some of the classic stuff.
The early ones,
some of their revamped ones.
Yep.
But essentially, you have Splinter, his wife, in her human form from, feudal Japan.
Right.
Who had died but has been resurrected. And the Turtles, who were also reincarnations of their kids from, a past time. They're all reincarnations of people who lived in feudal Japan. And this is, we don't know quite how, temporary this is, but she, actually had some sort of job rooted in, I think, some kind of a famous, iconic Japanese folklore. It'd be like, oh, you're supposed to ferry the dead to another place or something like that. She had a role that she was playing. And so there is these sort of celestial beings from, again, Japanese folklore and myth are kind of dealing with her. But for right now, she is actually living with them, and they are a family. And they're but she's melancholy, and she's it's just not like what it used to be. And she's I remember taking you boys to these fairs, and you would go and you would get the sweet the treats, and then we would do this. And they're whoa, let's go to Coney Island and stuff like that. And they take their mom and dad out for a day of fun. And this is, there's some action adventure stuff that happens in it. But this is kind of about them trying to reconnect with their mom in a sort of heartwarming way, but that also has some heartstring stuff in it. I like what he's doing. I think it's a good story.
And the only other thing I've got is the 5th issue of Dork.
Oh, right.
I continue to really enjoy that kind of over-the-top fun.
We have Absolute Green Lantern, as Nick alluded to, Volume 2 in trade and hardcover this week.
That's the second volume to be hitting of the second wave of Absolute titles, which were basically Flash.
Next week is
Flash, and then
week after is Martian Manhunter.
That's perfect.
Or maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, because the last issue has to hit, and then...
Right.
But it's pretty soon.
Right after,
It's pretty soon.
Annihilation, Modern Era Epic. This is the third one they've done. This is called Conquest.
Yep.
So it has the actual Conquest story.
You're talking about the Marvel Annihilation.
Marvel Annihilation.
Okay, yeah. This was their the heart of the beating heart of their cosmic universe. Maybe about 15 years ago.
This is what introduced the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, at least the modern version that we all know.
Yeah.
And I think we would all say is great material.
And has a surprise. The villain would not be a spoiler because it's been out there forever, but people haven't read it, so I'm not going to spoil it just in case you haven't.
It's a damn
but it's a
cool
great
reveal.
villain. Yeah.
The design on the villain, freaking cool.
Yep.
I feel like this is Conquest, the Annihilation Conquest one. Yeah, I feel like that did.
I don't know what all is in it. It's
probably got some side stuff too. But I do think Annihilation Conquest one-upped Annihilation.
Agreed.
And I already liked Annihilation.
So the previous one was the Conquest prologue, or maybe that's this one. I thought this is Conquest. I thought.
Okay.
But now I'm not sure as I look at it. But yeah,
the point is, there's basically some of the best world building they ever did that I wish they were still playing with more right now.
Right.
At least Dan Abnett is doing the new. What's the series he's doing?
Oh, the
one with the
Imperial Guardians.
Imperial Guardians, yeah. At least that feels like a through line from it. He is one of the creators.
Yep.
But anyway, so people will have some graphic novels that they can read this really good material though.
Yeah. So the Conquest prologue came out previously.
Okay, and that
So
was
this
probably the
is the new one.
miniseries starting.
I'm having trouble finding what's in it, but I should have grabbed the trade to see. But at any rate, I know it's good stuff.
Yep. I agree.
DC Finest. That's Marvel DC's sort of equivalent of
The Epic
Collections. They have one called Team Ups this week. The Impossible Escape, which is a lot of sort of Bronze Age stuff. There's Mr. Miracle, Green Arrow, Wonder Woman, Deadman, Commandy.
Oh, cool.
It says from Brave and the Bold and Super Team Family.
Okay.
A lot of Bob Haney stuff.
Okay.
But also Neil Adams and Jim
Was
Aparo.
Bob Haney the Doom Patrol guy? Or am I mixing
He's the
people
Teen
up?
Titans guy.
Teen Titans, yes. Okay.
Arnold
Oh, that's
Drake
fun.
is the Doom Patrol guy. He also co-created Deadman, Doom Patrol, and the original Guardians. He is also in a lot of these
Original
these ones.
Guardians.
The Guardians of Marvel Universe.
Oh, okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy. The ones
Yeah.
the ones from the year 3000.
Yep.
At any rate, those guys, a lot of their stuff collected in these. I'm sure it's going to be some classic sort of Bronze Age DC stuff. We have Orphan of the Five Beasts, Volume 2. This is James Stokoe's sort of futuristic, post-apocalyptic, samurai-ish.
Yep. Jim Stokoe is probably best known for his just utterly amazing artwork. Some of the most detailed and sort of textural kind of art you're ever going to see. Kind of reminds me of like those insane artists like Mobius and things like that who just like draw such at a level above and beyond other people.
For sure.
And like I think if you plug into this, if you plug into Stokoe's vibe in general, obviously you should check this out.
Punisher Red Band Brain Bleed trade. This is the Punisher Red Band series collected. The nice thing about these trades getting collected, they're not shrink wrapped. So if you didn't get a chance to read it, you can flip through and see if you might want to read it.
See if it survives.
Since people shouldn't bag comics, and I wish they'd stop doing that. But anyway, this leads into the current Punisher series.
You're saying that companies shouldn't bag comics. People bagging comics.
People
is
can
okay.
bag whatever the comics they want. Companies should not bag comics.
Yeah, I agree.
The hardcover of Space Scouts, the Matt Kint sort of Legion riff that he did.
Yeah. I'd like to read that all in collection now.
Star Trek The Next Generation Mirror War, the tail end of that mirror universe meets the regular Star Trek universe.
Yep.
In the IDW Classics, their sort of compact edition line.
Yep. This was the one. Is this a series of mini-series that are set in the mirror universe?
This one is a mini-series. The Mirror War was the finale of all of that.
Right.
And then
They did a bunch of good stuff with the mirror universe things, including, like, literally, as crazy as it seems, there had never been any vision of what, like, Picard... Mirror Picard was like until they did this comic.
Right.
They just hadn't. They chose deliberately not to do it in the next gen.
They did it. They did Deep Space Nine. They did it in the original series. They didn't do it in Next Gen.
Right. And they also did I think, same with Voyager.
Yeah.
You had to see a very awesome Janeway.
Oh, right.
Piratical Janeway.
So it was just Next Generation.
No, I'm sorry. That that one was,
that was
in the
only
comics
here.
too.
Okay,
Yeah, basically there was a span where, Deep Space Nine landed right in there, and they did lots of mirror universe stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Voyager and TNG didn't touch it. And,
Okay.
So it was like the comics had a unique opportunity to come up with some very cool stories. And because they used that artist, who J.K. Woodward, I think, did a lot of the design work, even if he didn't draw every individual comic.
Yeah.
And his designs were so cool on them. It's the usual mixture of, like, these guys look like badass pirates and sexy pirates, and they're cool.
Yep. And then Sunstone Volume 3 gets its new digest version.
Speaking of sexy pirates.
Speaking of sexy pirates. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to catch up on some TV and some movies that we've been watching. All right, we got a few. We're all pop culture fiends. We've been catching various things.
Yep.
We're going to talk about as much as we can until we run out of time.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about the rest next week.
Yes.
Or the week after.
Sounds good. There's
right.
always new.
Let's start with Amazon Prime's Spider-Noir,
Yes.
which I have seen all of. You have seen, Dave?
5 of the 8.
And Nick, you have
I've
seen...
seen 3.
So we're at different points in the show.
Different points. Yeah, we're going to try not to spoil it too much for people.
Dave, you are watching in black and white.
Yes.
Nick?
Color.
Same. I like the color.
The color's great.
You total weirdos.
No, the color's good.
Nick, you did color?
I was curious.
It's like that true hue, like fake. It's like colorized color. It's kind of cool.
I'm doing a stupid thing,
Mm-hmm.
this will change because I was in a rock and a hard place because I knew we'd be talking about it today.
Yeah.
And I had no time to watch stuff.
Yeah.
So I put on my headphones while lying in my bed and watched it on my phone.
Okay.
So I was like,
I've watched some stuff on my phone that I wish I didn't have to do.
Nick,
So I
you're
watched
watching
it
it on your phone?
I did. And I
wasn't going to judge you for watching in color because I did, but that's weird.
well, it was
Listen,
either
I've done it
that or I didn't
before.
watch it and I couldn't talk about it. So it was
okay.
one of those
All right.
things.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done it before too. It's
And
not that weird.
honestly, I wasn't jonesed for this.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't either.
I was like, okay, I like Nick Cage.
And afterwards, Randy still isn't.
I remain, I think, of the three of us, the least interested
Well,
in it.
I can't remember the last time I was like super excited for a Nicolas Cage property.
That's
He's made a lot of
He used to be
direct-to-video
your main
shit.
man.
He was, and growing up, I religiously rewatched a lot of his movies because I found them highly entertaining.
Yep.
But he's made a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And a lot of direct-to-video, a lot
Right.
of just stuff.
Eventually, even the most ardent fan is kind of like, man, I got to go through a lot to
I
get
guess,
to the good stuff.
I guess the,
Because he can still be like Randy. You saw Pig, which I haven't seen, but that was supposed to be
liked
great.
I enjoyed
I
Pig.
did like Pig.
Yeah.
Right, and like,
And I like the one he made.
what was the one with Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, I liked that one.
Yeah, like we all know that he's like actually can still have it.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor.
He can be a good actor. He's also a
And by the way,
whack job.
I liked him in Color Out of Space too.
Yeah.
That's one of the few Lovecraft movies that I think was great.
However, it did not take long to get into this show,
Yeah.
and I was all in.
Really?
I was like, oh, the effects are cool. The city is cool. It felt like it feels like a really good blend of like The Shadow and all this other stuff mixed with noir. Like you said, I mean, it is noir. It is
noir first and foremost.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is the superhero stuff, but when it begins, there's kind of a neat plot point that becomes part of the major story. That Nicolas Cage has already been the Spider. He's Ben Reilly. He's a private detective. And I think, in a way, it was kind of interesting to acknowledge, by the way, that he is a slightly older hero.
Yes.
But he was the Spider. The city, he saved some people in the city. People liked him, I think, even, or were impressed by him. But he gave it up 5 years ago because of a tragic thing that happened. Basically, the short version you'll know very quickly in the show is that his wife died.
Yep.
He wasn't able to save her. There's still some mysteries and things that you're going to find out about that, but that's the gist of it.
So he
gave up.
has a breakdown. He gives up being the Spider.
He takes up a lot of drinking and detective work.
and
He is
he's-
a kind of classic burnout kind of dude.
But he's a little like Maltese Falcon. He has very
He's got
kind of
a
a Bogart kind of.
He's got a bit of a heart of gold, but he's not above working for the bad guys. Like,
Yep.
he will
Yep.
literally take a job from a gangster.
Yeah.
And that gangster is Brendan Gleeson, a.k.a. Silvermane.
He's great as Silvermane.
He's
I
great.
love
Even more as
Gleeson.
time goes by, he's like a presence, and he's like... This is a dude who, in his way, is playing like the Kingpin, but it's a more nuanced Kingpin, because sometimes you'll see, like, there's an episode... He has hired Ben Reilly, the Nicolas Cage's detective, to look into something for him, and it's kind of like he knows that he's not like all in the tank for him, that he's like it's a job, and he doesn't even necessarily want to work for a gangster, but he kind of needed to.
Yeah.
But when he kind of like gains a bit of trust on Silvermane is like, oh, you're going to be my new friend. Let's have it like come down to the club. And I'm going to buy drinks for us all night, and we're going to, like, bond.
Well, I was going to say, like...
And I'm like, oh, Silvermane is lonely.
Well, his version of gangster. This is not like Kingpin in Daredevil Born Again,
Right.
where he's like a monster. This is it's 1930s New York.
It's Prohibition.
He's like Prohibition, so he's running a club with booze and stuff. Like, he's illegal, but he's like he'd be one of these like almost a folk hero crime boss,
Right.
except that he also kills people.
Yeah.
Right, and he will turn on his own even, but he's not one of these guys who's like, ha 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 ha. He'll only turn on them if he thinks they've betrayed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you catch the other private investigator that was in the first episode? Did you
Who is that?
recognize him? He was the guy who played what serial killer in Mindhunter? He was also in Umbrella Academy.
Wait, so he's who was
you know the big guy?
the guy who played
Ed Gein?
Yeah, he was the guy who played Ed Gein, and he was
love
one
that
of
guy.
the assassins in Umbrella
I
Academy.
did not catch that's who that was.
I was all in because I like those small character actors
Yeah.
that show up. He did a great job as kind of a drunk.
Well, right out of the gates, what I thought was interesting was like, here's a character who's just a supporting player. He's not vital to the show, but he is depicted with some nuance.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, is this guy a friend? Is he an enemy? Is he some kind of blur, line in between? And so I end up liking these guys. There is a henchman for Silvermane who plays a role who's particularly annoyed by Ben Reilly.
Yeah.
You know that dude?
Isn't that Lucas Haas?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid from Witness.
That's who the kid is?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, who's grown up and now is like an older guy like our age. And
I was told, and I didn't realize, the kid who helps Nicolas Cage out, who's like kind of like the borderline homeless kid who like will like do jobs for him and stuff. So that I didn't know that was the kid from Weapons.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I didn't either.
I know, right?
Cameron Britton, by the way, is the name of the actor who played the other PI.
Oh yeah, that is him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so that character played by Nicholas Haas is just like, he's just like his gunman or whatever. But like, the more scenes he was in, the more I kind of like, and you're like, oh, he's kind of has to run a little bit around. He's got to sometimes maneuver around his boss. There's the occasional thing where he's like, he's so close to him, I'm like, he could kill him.
There's a scene where between him and Brendan Gleeson talking about. Brendan Gleeson wants to be the first on the scene to sort of survey this kind of big event that's happening.
Yep.
Like they're doing like a prohibition all the liquor sale from Canadians.
Yeah.
And Lucas Haas gives this speech of like, you shouldn't be the first one to let me do this. And he's like, well, you're probably going to try to take it all from under me. And he's like, I could have taken out everything years ago, but I am your loyal guy.
Right.
It's all setting up these interesting things.
There's super interesting dynamics between all of them, and we haven't mentioned Kat Hardy yet.
Yep.
Kat Hardy is the sort of sultry singer. I don't know the lady who's playing
I don't
her.
either, but she's great.
She's really good.
I don't know if she was actually
one
singing,
of the most sophisticated characters in it. I didn't notice the obvious overdub, so I felt like she could be singing.
Yeah, it was great.
She gets some of those kind of classic torch numbers.
What was the song what was the full number that was the song?
It's a famous song, but I don't remember like a big
I was like, oh man, this is really, really good.
But they did kind of throw a spin on it, which was cool. But anyway, she's sort of his kept woman of the gangster, and you kind of don't know, like in the classic noir tradition, you kind of don't know quite whose side she's on. But one of the earliest things she does is kind of go out of her way to try and help a person who's like one of the, like a sort of a thug guy who's Flint Marko, aka the Sandman. The first of several people you'll see with other powers in this, and that's a subplot as to where'd they come from? Why is there sort of a little bit of a boom in them happening right now around the city? And will this draw out the spider? Spoiler warning, yes. but like the degree to which he comes out or doesn't is very interesting in the show.
I also think Robbie Robertson is such a good
Lamar
character.
Morris is great.
He's kind of like Robbie Robertson in the comics is usually a father figure to Peter Parker.
Yep.
But
so here in this, he's like a little bit of a slick kind of operator.
Well, he works for the Bugle, but got fired.
Right.
Probably because he's black.
Right. They do acknowledge racial tension.
There's segregation.
Even though there's a little bit of like progressiveness to it, which I like, kind of in small ways.
Yeah. But his character arc and kind of the situations he gets in are really, really cool. I think his dialogue is particularly well done.
He reminds me a little bit of a sort of a Lando Calrissian likable scoundrel, but he's got like a head for like kind of the truth and justice and stuff like that. It's just that he gets to it in a way that's a little like Lando would.
I mean, it's kind of like he's playing Ben Urich in a lot of ways.
Right. But even Ben kind of doesn't smile. Like Ben is always kind of dour in the comics.
Right.
Well, he's often dour. Whereas there's also like often a smile on Robbie's face, even though he's dealing with some rough stuff. And we should mention the secretary.
The secretary's really good.
What's her name? Her character's name?
I don't remember.
Forget.
Yeah.
Shoot.
But it's just the actress and her presence.
She's great. She is like kind of the secretary who's kind of like, in some ways, is smart and more together than the PI.
Yeah.
She's very put upon, and she's like, I should walk away from this and like do something else. You suck. But she's also like kind of the Alfred
She is.
like the one who's keeping it all together.
I will also say, Cage is doing a really good job.
You guys have not seen the last few episodes, and man, Cage goes full Cage on this last couple, and it's really entertaining.
I'm glad to hear that, because I thought he was reining it in. There were moments where I was like, oh, he's escaping.
It's kids getting loose. The tiger's getting loose.
Just like when him and Silvermane drinking together, there were just some cool, him, little going Cage doing his little affectations.
He, like a lot of Private Eyes, he, along with, honestly, almost everybody else in the show and in noir stories, is a smartass.
Yeah.
They're always bantering and talking shit to each other.
Here the banter's really good.
I think so, too.
The writing on this, I don't recognize any of the creators or directors.
They've been various things.
But, man, I'm in.
The more I saw, longer conversations in it, the more I liked it. I did think Cage is kind of doing, a Bogart impression, sort of. There is, and I told you, Nick, you haven't gotten to this yet, but there is sort of a little bit of a story reason that comes up as to, his connection to, movies and why he might be doing that.
I think you're right. It probably was Cage coming through.
And Randy and I talked about this the other day. We're like, I think Nicolas Cage himself suggested that. Because he's like, I want to bring in some Jimmy Cagney and some Edward G. Robinson here and there and a little Bogart here and there. And they were probably like, this guy is loving doing this. Mm-hmm. Let's let it go.
Right, we don't have to pay him as much if he does.
We don't have to pay him as much.
But you're not in love with this.
I am not. Okay. I
found that the tone was a little...
I wanted it either to be more wacky or less wacky.
Okay.
I didn't quite commit either way. I also thought I want more Spider-Man Noir in my Spider-Man Noir.
Yep.
I understand that part of the focus is the idea is that he has retired because of what happened to his wife. But I'm like, man, there ain't enough Spider-Man Noir in the Spider-Man Noir. Also, this feels very much like what Sony does with Spider-Man, and what you compared this to, The Rocketeer and Shadow and what's the other one? The Phantom.
Yep.
And it does feel like that. However, that makes this the best superhero show of 1995. It is 2026.
You know what? But The Rocketeer is still a great movie.
Rocketeer is still a great movie. The other two are not so much.
But you know what? I think Pulp Heroes, which is closer to what this is.
Yes.
You don't break out the big action as often with those guys.
I love Pulp as a genre.
Yep.
I love superheroes as a genre. I love Spider-Man. This should have been right up my alley, and instead it does feel, I don't know, a little cheap considering that it's Prime.
Man, I don't feel that way at all.
I don't get cheap from
man,
and also, you're also working within the...
I will say, the one place I'll sort of agree with Randy is some of the action scenes, just every once in a while, like a scene, I'm not sure if I think you might have hit this, that has a version of Electro in it.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten there.
Okay, but it felt like a little low budgety, but at the same time, it also... I ended up super liking their take on Electro.
It all works for what it is, but I think I was like, I'm comparing it to the high watermark of Spider-Verse. And
I mean, you're also working with
I like it more than Spider-Verse easily.
That's crazy.
A lead actor that is pushing 70?
Yes.
So, I mean, you have to color within the lines there a little bit.
But also, to me, it's the very thing that Randy isn't as big on is why I like it.
Yeah.
Is and I'm not even the biggest fan of noir. I'm not always watching old black and white movies, but I do love that look and that vibe and the sort of stories that they tell in there about kind of tarnished, not white knights and stuff like that. And this is first and foremost a noir and second a superhero thing. I like that decision.
I'll go as far as to say that it is one of my favorite Amazon Prime shows so far. Now, whether or not that stays...
Over The Boys and The Expanse...
I think it's because it's a different speed. It's not about the blood, gore, and over the top. It's slick. I like the
I do
pattern.
want to inhabit that world. It's funny... My dad died of lung cancer. I don't usually like lots of movies with tons of smoking in it. There's a sort of a little bit of a trigger thing going in there.
Yeah.
But when I watch this, it's like when I watch a 40s movie and I'm like, these guys are cool. I want to take up smoking.
I also like when most of the characters are pretty damn smart.
They are. Even that's like I said, even the thugs are kind of smart.
Yeah, and I've only seen 3 of the villains, or I say villains in quotation marks.
Yeah, because none of them are just straightforward either.
They're not straightforward, and they are working with a smaller budget than things. And I think the effects they give across, I've really enjoyed.
I sometimes like the effect of a constrained budget.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to evoke that without spending all of your dollars on one thing.
I don't necessarily always want those big video game cutscene fights.
I'll see where I land because I will make it a point in watching the rest of this.
And we'll see what happens when he cages out.
It's true.
No, I think you guys. I mean, if you're liking it now, you're going to like it by the end.
Probably
Okay.
so.
I never really quite plugged or unplugged. It was just like it was there. It didn't grab me.
Yep. And I would put it among my favorite things I've watched in the last year or two.
Yeah, y'all really liked this.
I
I
did.
would say this, Widow's Bay, one or two other things are like my tops.
Widow's Bay is the top right now.
I understand Widow's Bay.
Bay is the top.
The last episode special.
Dave had mentioned, I think you may have even talked about this in the podcast, the Pixar movie Hoppers.
Yes.
And Nick and I both watched it.
Yeah, it hit Disney Plus last week.
And I really liked it. I was skeptical. Based on the trailer, I didn't think I had any interest in this.
Yeah,
and then Dave liked it. I'm like, well, Dave really liked this. I should try it. And as we watched it,
I think I was saying that it kind of reminded me a little bit more of the Pixar, the slightly more classic Pixar where people were plugging into a lot more of their movies.
yeah. Well, it starts off, and I'm like, this is okay.
Well, it has
and
a very
then
up kind of opening.
it does.
Right.
And I was
grabbed by the up type opening, which is to say there's something that's a heartstrings
Yes.
sequence.
And I was not grabbed by that because I've seen it so many times. I was like, oh, Pixar doing Pixar. But then once they get into the whole she is a beaver,
yes.
that and the realization that, oh, this is not going to be about the technology. This is about the forest community and all that stuff.
Yes.
I was enjoying it a lot more. And then when you will believe a shark can fly, I fell completely in love with it.
Let's just real quick say what the premise is,
Yeah.
just in case people haven't seen it. There's this college-age woman, young lady. What's her character's name?
Mabel.
Mabel, yes.
She has a particular connection because of her closeness to her grandmother to a nearby pond and glade sort
She
of
grew
thing.
up-
And she's always been kind of a nature conservationist. She's an animal lover.
Right, but I think it was because of her grandmother. Her grandmother
Yes.
introduced
Yeah.
it to her because she kind of had a little bit of like, you might say like kind of ADHD or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And she kind of showed her how she could kind of calm herself by like relaxing in this glade and paying attention to the ecosystems and stuff.
Yep.
So years later, she's in college. She's a bit of a hellraiser herself. The glade is going to get knocked out and bulldozed for like an overpass or something. And she comes up with this wildly unique solution because, like, in one of her sort of sciencey classes,
Yeah.
there's somebody who's trying to study the animals, and it's essentially, they even joke about this, you know how in Avatar they put the dude's body into the big blue guy?
Yep.
Well, that is the blue people Avatar, not Last Airbender.
Right.
They have like a little sort of VR helmet where you can plug into a little robot critter that looks sort of like, basically like a real beaver, and you can go and interact with the animals, and they're going to use that to observe and just, do science stuff. But she's like, I'm going to get these animals to come back to the glade that they've abandoned, and then there are statutes and stuff that will prevent the overpass from happening if there's animals there.
Yep.
That's the basic plan. Go into the beaver robot, bring the animals back, stop the overpass. And then, of course, it turns out the animals have their own hierarchy of different communities. They're fractious. There's like the fish and the bugs, and there's like the
Snakes.
the snakes, and then there's the mammals, and each one kind of does things a bit differently.
Yep.
The realization. So one of the
This
big
is
things.
about leftist infighting, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, it is about leftist infighting. One of the things I really liked is the realization when they went to when she sort of infiltrates the animal community, and finds out about the Bug King and the Bird King and all that stuff, and
Big council.
yes, when there's some humorously dark stuff in here.
Yes, there's a hilariously dark
There's a
sequence.
bit where she's talking about the mayor and she's trying to talk them into like, hey, we need to mobilize and like stop them from doing this overpass. And the animals are all, oh, so we're gonna squish the mayor? He's like, no, we shouldn't kill him. And then that goes hilariously wrong.
Right.
Yep.
There are some animals that are ready to kill.
Yes.
Again, if you exist in any sort of lefty, progressive,
You've seen
liberal
this.
community, you've probably seen there's some people that are like, the revolution starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there's even like maybe a few bad apples in there. And then there's and she is trying to bring them together. Who is the guy who is the king of the mammals?
King George.
King George?
King George, and he is voiced by Bobby Moynihan from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he's really good.
I don't recognize the actress who is Mabel, but she did a great job.
Yeah,
But the mayor is John Hamm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
great. Her arch rival. He's basically the guy who's like, I need this growth. He's like a sort of sleazy mayor.
But also, it goes in you get a little more sympathy from it. The two of them sort of wind up working together.
Right. There is this is Disney and Pixar land, and they would like you to be able to bridge gaps.
Like I say, I was watching this, and my kid, who doesn't always watch, my kid watches a lot of YouTube.
Yes.
But my kid came in and watched the second half. As soon as they saw some of the funny stuff going on, they parked themselves on the couch and watched and laughed. Some of the, like I say, the weirdly dark stuff that happens.
Yes.
The mayor, I don't want to give away too much, but there's a bit where the mayor's been replaced by sort of a robot version of himself.
Oh, yeah.
And
Voiced by Dave Franco.
They peel his face off.
Yep.
And the animals are running around wearing his face like a joke.
Yes.
And it is hysterical.
There's also
so dark.
A mishap with the insects at one point.
Yes.
That was, to me, was the biggest laugh in the whole thing. And there was some big laughs in this.
Yeah,
there's also like some very heart-rending moments.
The villain is monologuing at the end, and the way that gets interrupted is also dark and hilarious.
Diane the Shark.
Diane the Shark is a great character.
And yes, there is hilariously the loudest voice for Animal Uprising is a little bug.
Yep.
What is he? He's a caterpillar.
He's a butterfly.
Yeah, caterpillar turned into a butterfly.
Yep. But he is like the voice of vengeance.
Yep.
Yes.
And
voiced by Dave Franco.
Dave Franco. Yeah. So anyway, I will say also this. I believe that the beaver robot that she inhabits is extremely adorable and emotive.
Yeah.
Like there are times when also like the interactions with the rest of the beavers where they're kind of like figuring it out, and it's like so sad.
The other voice I want to mention, Sam Richardson plays, he's one of the scientists who gets put in a bird at some point. He's got a very recognizable voice.
Yes.
You know him from the movie Werewolves Within.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Veep.
Yep.
He's on Ted Lasso. He's a great character actor, and I loved his character in this. I forget who voices the lead scientist, but she's also somebody you'd know. I can't remember the name of it.
It's not Kathy Najimy.
It is Kathy Najimy, yes.
Oh, you know what? Something I think I don't know if I mentioned this when I kind of loosely talked about this a few months ago, is it's not like a big deal, which I sort of appreciate this. The lead character, she kind of strikes me as a bit non-binary. She's kind of a boyish girl.
Yeah.
And there's, you'll if you're listening to this being like, oh no, I hope this movie ain't too woke. I'm like, well, rest easy a little bit because they don't draw a lot of attention to it. It's just like, you know how there's sometimes there's people in your world, in your life that you meet that are just not obvious, that are a boyish girl or a girlish boy. Same thing. But she's a great character. And what I liked is that I felt like I got the kind of classic Pixar thing I'm looking for, which is I felt like this was really heartfelt and sad and stuff at times, but also hilarious.
My wife doesn't really. She watches animated movies, but they're not her favorite.
That's me. I'm also that person.
She really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have initially seen this if not for the fact that my housemate wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And then I was like really glad that I saw it because it's super good.
I'm glad you mentioned this because I was not going to watch it, and it was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah, and I think I would agree with y'all that like the trailers hadn't like wooed me completely. Like I was like, oh, this looks solid. I'm sure it's good or fine. But I would not have like been super enthused to see it if I hadn't kind of stumbled into it.
Okay. I think we have time for one quick discussion, but I want to mention Nick and I both watched Cape Fear on Apple Plus.
Yep, 2 episodes.
I just want to say, worth your time.
It is.
We'll talk about it more in detail next week or the week after.
Especially for Javier Bardem.
But I do want to talk about the movie Obsession, which you have not. You've not seen.
Correct, and Dave's seen.
Dave's seen.
Right.
And
this is the one that is currently breaking all kinds of records.
Yeah.
In fact, 2 horror movies that are basically low-budget horror movies, but sort of ambitious.
And both came from YouTube Shorts.
Obsession and The Backrooms are kind of skunking the big-budget movies of this season. And these are like Gen Z directors and stuff like that.
Yep.
And they horror movies can sometimes like really remake their budgets because they tend to be cheap. And if they do well, they can make tons. And these movies are both doing it. But but I think the highest rating goes of those two goes to Obsession. It's like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes or something still.
So yeah, and we'll talk again. Backrooms we'll probably talk about next week.
Yep.
But I want to talk about Obsession real quick.
Randy, before you say that, we had an extremely unique experience with Backrooms. A very interesting thing happens. We'll tell you the tale next week.
But Obsession, Serena, our horror movie loving staffer, loved it.
Yep.
You, Dave, did not. We're not crazy about it.
I was not crazy about it, but I think it. I for sure see why people liked it, and
but
I think
it is generally getting really, really good reviews.
It is getting insanely good reviews,
and so
kind of like the closest thing I would say is like when Get Out came out, and people were like, "Damn, this horror movie's got it."
So I went to see it knowing that Serena and I don't always agree on movies.
Yeah.
And Dave and I don't always agree on movies, but if Dave dislikes something, and I'm like, okay, well, I may not like this.
Right.
And as it turns out, I lean a little more to Serena. I actually really, really liked it.
You really liked it.
However, I don't ever want to see it again.
It's
it
kind
is
of like,
so intense.
It's sort of how people talk about, what's that movie where they do the drugs? Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, same deal. Yeah. Obsession, for those who don't know, it's kind of a monkey's paw story.
Yep.
It is a guy in his early 20s.
Sort of a nerdy, introverted dude.
Yep. He works at a music store along with a girl who he's been friends with forever.
At least initially, kind of seems like he might be that nice guy cliche who can't get the girl.
And so there's a group of 4 of them. It's him. It opens with him practicing with a waitress on admitting to this girl he's been friends with forever that he has feelings for her.
Right.
And his buddy is coaching him, and basically his buddy seems to be like, "What are you doing? Don't do this."
Yeah.
His buddy is like the smoother guy who seems to know things.
Right.
And
but he's also just kind of his bro.
There's also another girl who's sort of an alt girl.
Yeah.
Who's also they've all been friends together. She is waiting to get into college.
Right. They seem like the kind of folks who might go out for drinks, karaoke, trivia night,
In fact,
kind of stuff.
they do.
That's just that. It's that kind of group of friends.
So after their trivia night, where he sort of again fumbles trying to tell her, his buddy interrupts him, doesn't want him to. He drops off this girl, his crush, at her home, and he went to a magic store and found this thing that's called Wish Willow.
One Wish Willow.
One Wish Willow.
It's sort of like the equivalent of the kind of novelty of what's the vending machine in Big or the
like Zoltar or 3D glasses or one of those things.
It's like a little boxed thing with kind of cheap looking art on it that looks like it was imported.
$7.
Right.
There's no way you would think a Magic Wish machine would work for $7.
Right. He's actually there to try and maybe get a.
She dropped a crystal necklace and he's trying to replace her necklace.
Right.
But he winds up buying this One Wish Willow, and so after she leaves and he's doing the sort of beating himself up thing, he breaks the thing and he's like, "I wish she loved me more than anything else in the fucking world."
Right.
And then that goes poorly.
That goes always well.
Here's where I kind of will credit the movie. It's like, it happens, the way things go wrong is kind of interesting and particularly gets under your skin and unnerving.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times when I saw this in the theater and there was a sort of a palpable tension in the audience where you can kind of feel that you're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
And it's not just kind of like, oh, she's like, "I want to eat your face, I love you so much," or anything like that.
It's more disturbing. It's almost like she's almost got 2 personalities.
Right.
It's like she kind of keeps waking up to the reality of that she's in this relationship she doesn't want to be in.
Right. And imagine if you, it's like she's sort of like, there's little moments of lucidity where she's like, "Oh wait, I don't love you,"
and it's not
the
even
way it happens.
It's like
super
she
creepy.
screams. It's like she found she's in a torture room or something.
Right, and they'll be out at dinner, and then she's looking into his eyes deeply, and they're seem to be having a good conversation, and she's so into him. And he, by the way, at this point has at least convinced himself, or is trying to convince himself. He's like, well, maybe that thing didn't work, and she just has actually always had feelings for me. It just happened.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, you could sort of probably put yourself in his shoes at that point.
Did you feel like I didn't feel like there was much of it. I feel like he always thought the wish worked.
I thought that they specifically had him say.
I don't remember that because pretty early on she's acting weird everywhere they go.
When they're still in the car.
Yeah.
And they're doing that thing. I thought he straight up said something like, "There's no way it worked," or something like that.
I didn't get that impression.
But be that as it may, you will probably start to see that his character is maybe not as nice a guy as he thinks he is.
Yeah.
And but yes, they'd be having this conversation, and then suddenly she just shrieks.
Yeah.
As if like you said, like she's being tortured. And like
that sounds.
There's a bit. I mean, there's some definite jump scares in this, and it's very tense, and you're like always wondering what's going to happen. And there's a bit in the night where he wakes up. They're spending the night together now, and he looks over. It's like 3 a.m, and she's not there. And he looks up in this dark bedroom, and he doesn't see her. And she's like in a corner behind a chair, standing there watching him sleep.
like,
and then she
with like crazy adoration.
And then she like freaks out on him, and it's like, oh, so like there's never they don't really do this bit where it's like, oh, she's crazy in love with him. It's always presented as dangerous. She's always psychotic in the way that she's staring at him.
What she does, Nick, is like, it's almost like she's holding still, and she moves just a few feet to the side, but she kind of moves in this like Silent Hill nurse way,
alien way, yes.
And you're like, oh shit, that's not good.
It feels like she might stab him to death at any minute, the whole time.
Unfortunately, you guys told me something that will probably permanently not make me see this.
There is an animal death, and it's kind of brutal in the early part.
Especially my wife is particularly strong on those reactions.
You don't see the animal death. It's more of a sort of a weird follow through.
Yes.
But yes.
Yeah, it's one of those things that kind of sours for her. So I will watch it eventually. Yeah. But it's
Nick,
not.
you should see it. And I know that we've talked about.
Well, it sounds interesting. It sounds like. I expected just the quintessential she falls in, like,
it was not
in love.
It was not what I expected. I thought it was going to be a monkey's paw story.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was kind of this captured nature to it, where she is, like, going against her own will.
She's basically been possessed by an entity, is what it seems like.
Interesting. Right. Okay, that
but
was
there's
not
also a few darkly funny things about how he, like, tries to maybe figure out a way out of it. I don't want to say any of the specifics,
but also his friends both are like, what are you doing in this relationship? It seems weird. They're both, for different reasons, thinking she's taking advantage of him, and also that like the two of them don't belong together, and they
talk a bit about how like people can take advantage of trauma and things like that, and there's a little concern about that. So there's a few plot points we haven't mentioned, and I don't want to. I think it's better to find them.
A24?
It is A24, isn't it?
A24 did the back rooms.
They did back rooms, yeah.
Neon?
I don't know. I actually
if nothing else, it sort of vibes like those ones.
Yeah, I was looking to see.
Neon is a little more gore fest as opposed to.
It feels more like a Neon thing, but I believe it is just another independent thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I sort of felt weirdly distanced during it, and even though it did do some unique things, I also sort of felt it was a little predictable.
And I definitely did not feel that.
And even a few. Well. Yeah,
I think if you really plug into something quickly, you're just in.
Sure. I've had this experience with many movies.
I need to, because I watched Hokum, and I had kind of like, I wasn't as into it as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
But I was kind of a little distracted at the beginning of it, so I need to give it a second go.
Okay.
But I mean, this sounds interesting.
Yeah.
The animal cruelty did not.
I really enjoyed it. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh.
Like, this is the scariest movie I've seen in a theater in a while.
Oh.
And I did not have that experience.
You're like, this shit is boring.
Maybe noobs will find it scary.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed this quite a bit.
Cool.
I would definitely recommend it. If you like horror and you like scary horror, because it's not... This is not like lighter. This is not like Scream for me. This was like, oh, this is almost too intense. This feels more like... What's not Midsommar,
well, there's like sort of a more of an emotional realism like Hereditary.
Yeah, this felt like what I expect Hereditary is like.
Right, I know you haven't seen it, but and
I'm not gonna.
Hereditary, I think you could handle Hereditary.
It sounds like
I don't necessarily think you would like Hereditary.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if I'd like it,
but I think you could handle it. But it is a sort of a more emotionally intense kind of horror. So yeah. Well, Nick, you should. We've done this occasionally where we see things in a staggered way. And then we'll come back to it like a few months later, and we'll see. We'll have you come in as a tiebreaker. Yeah. Will you agree with Randy that it rocks, or me that it sucks?
All right, that'll wrap it up for us this week. We'll be back next week with more. Until that time, yo Joe.
Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.